What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career. Sean, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, Catherine, I'm doing quite excellent. I could not be better. It is not even possible for me to be doing any better. And today...
And why is that?
Well, we've got a very special guest on. We've got a very special guest on, and that is Jonathan Moeller from Colorado Custom Covers and Decks. Did I say that right? That's like kind of a little bit of a tongue twister. Colorado Custom Covers and Decks.
It's a mouthful for sure. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. And right now it is full transparency. It is Friday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time. It is 6 a.m. Mountain Time for Jonathan Moeller. He is in the Denver area, Colorado. Thanks for getting up extra early, which apparently isn't that early for you, but getting ready to go and be on a podcast at 6 a.m. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. Love to talk to you guys.
Cool. Well, we're excited to dive into a bunch about your business because you're obviously doing some like really cool, crazy stuff. I've seen a lot of your work, but I'm excited to like learn more about everything that kind of got you up to this point and everything. So just before we get into like your backstory and everything, let's jump into one project in particular because I'm looking at your website and there is a bunch of just really awesome, crazy, cool, huge projects. Side of a mountain, 20 feet in the air, 50 feet in the air. Let's talk about one that really challenged you in some sort of way, and kind of go through what it looked like.
Yeah, it was back in 2020. It was kind of the deck, I think, that kind of set us apart a little bit. Probably seen it. It was, it kind of goes around a lot, but it was a double-decker deck. We got a hot tub, swim spot in it, and then we built a cover over it. And we did some wood railing, wood posts and wood like X's with cable rail running through it.
Oh yeah.
And man, that railing system was the hardest railing system we've ever done, just because we had to, keep that cable this completely level all the way through, and then drilling, their X's. So trying to drill perfectly through it. So we're not, going on an angle, and oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it was 2020. So the pricing, when I kind of lost my shorts on some of the material pricing, when everything went crazy and I didn't get a handle on that. So that was a challenge. That was a little bit of a challenge there, dealing with that. But we're doing it in the middle of the winter as well. So we're dealing with the snow and whatnot. But it was one of the bigger projects at that time that we did. And then incorporating that hot tub, that swim spot, and getting everything all nice at the reveal that they wanted. And it was definitely challenging, and it tested our limits for sure.
Yeah, it looks incredible. I'm looking at the picture right now, and I've seen this picture a bunch. Been probably on the cover of some magazines. I know I've seen it a bunch of different places. It's an incredible project. It's got a incredible amount of square footage. How much square footage was this project total?
Man,
Looks
I
like
believe it
3,000 or something.
Yeah. It was. I think it was in the thousands area square footage. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it was by far the biggest project we took on, and I had a really, really good a lead carpenter building it with me, and then I had some other guys that were building. We went through probably three different guys, helpers during that project.
Yeah.
So it was, not only building this big project, but also kind of training some guys coming and going, can be stressful as a business owner to make that happen. But it was,
so
the homeowners were great too. We ended up doing their other house as well through that project. So it worked out pretty well for us in the long run.
yeah. This looks like the type of project that the client might have two houses. This is a pretty nice home, a really, really nice project. And so you're saying like this is one of the first, because I'm looking at it now, and I'm seeing a bunch of your other projects, and a lot of your projects look like this now. They're huge. They are very kind of similar. Was this one that really like set you on this current path of like, you built this and now people see it and they're like, okay, wow, I didn't know that this was a possibility. And it kind of sent your business like in a little bit of a different direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that this project is what set us apart. We did one other project probably about a year and a half before this that was kind of getting us there. But the homeowners, as you know, to be able to break in and doing these big jobs, you really have to gain the trust of the homeowner, because it's not cheap to do these projects. And to be able to have the homeowner to have the confidence in us to do that and trust, you kind of have to build a little bit of a portfolio. But if you haven't done it, you got to start somewhere. So my neighbor actually knew this homeowner, and they really trusted him, and so that's what really kind of got the job, I believe, is like, oh, you're Travis's neighbor, right? And like, yeah, like, oh, we love Travis. I'm like, yeah, he's a great guy. So
Yeah.
I think that kind of helped build that relationship of being able to trust me to be able to do this project. Obviously, forever grateful to be able to do that because, like you said, it definitely started setting us apart and building confidence in the other homeowners to be like, oh yeah, they can do these type of projects and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. We kind of look back at projects that we've done and you like notice sometimes you notice it in the moment. Sometimes you have to look back at it and notice like this project, wow, this was really like a turning point in the business. Like once we built this, it like, whether it built confidence in us or it helped our portfolio so much and showed future clients what we could do. Like you just look back at certain projects that are like, this was such a turning point in the course of the business. And I can see why this one is. And if you're watching this on YouTube, we'll have a picture of this project so you can see what we're talking about here. It's pretty incredible, amazing setting in the Colorado. I guess this is the Rockies. Would you consider this the Rockies?
Yeah, it's Conifer, Colorado, so it's kind of like the foothills is what it's kind of called, the foothills, kind of the start to that. What are we there? It was probably like 8,000 8,000 to 9,000. Yeah, probably like 8,000 feet, somewhere in
Mm.
there. 885. Yeah.
Wow, wow. I'm always jealous of a lot of you guys like you in Denver, Colorado area, and people just like, you know, you could build like kind of a crappy looking deck on this house and take a beautiful picture, and it just looks amazing. Like,
It's true. It's true.
we're most of ours are like in a development somewhere. There's no scenery whatsoever. Like, it's really difficult to like get an awesome picture. This is like you have an incredible house, incredible project, incredible view and landscape, and I'm jealous of that. You guys like we're gonna have to like AI ours into a setting like yours because it just adds so much to it. It's amazing.
Yeah, the
So
setting, the backgrounds definitely help us out for sure.
yeah,
Can't complain with
it's
that.
and like obviously if a homeowner has that house in that landscape, like they want to spend most of their time outside, probably like enjoying that because it's incredible. It's beautiful. So I love this project. I'm glad that you picked this one because it's the one I'm probably most familiar with. I've seen it the most. I've seen a lot of brands and other people like repost it because it just showcases their products so incredibly. So it's really cool. So everybody can check that out. We'll have a picture up on the screen. Now that we've kind of talked about that, let's dive into like what got you up to that point. How long have you been in business and what was that whole journey like?
Yeah, so business started, Colorado Custom Covers and Decks started in about 2015, and started out with a partner. And before that, we were doing like new construction homes. So I was just doing decks by myself, 200 square foot, 17 treads, stairs, and just doing them in 2 days, just knocking them out, just as new construction goes, it's just cookie cutter. Just every deck was the same. So once you did like two, you could just cut everything and just go, and everything fit good and whatnot. So it was pretty easy to get like a system down. So I learned how to do like systems and be efficient, and how to build decks quick and fast, and making them look good still at the same time. But I was like, man, new construction is just not, that's just not what I want to do. Like I really want to build something cool. And so I got a partner and we started branching out and just doing, doing new construction, but then getting some of our own stuff just to try to slowly build. And then we finally just went full in and started doing custom stuff and as custom as you can get at first, and we just kind of went from there. My partner ended up moving back to Florida. So then, then the company just was just all mine and kind of just been growing from there. And as you know, the business is every year, every 6 months, there's something different, something new, kind of changing this and adjusting there. So we've definitely come a really long way since then.
Yeah, yeah, I'll say. And I actually started Premier Outdoor Living in 2015 as well.
Oh,
Yeah, making me feel making me feel bad about myself. We haven't built anything quite this big or
what is,
elaborate. So
dude? Your guys' stuff is sick, man. Come on now.
really good at taking pictures of our stuff and everything like that. But this project, it's incredible. So that's awesome. We started at the same time, which is super cool. Did you have a lot of experience? Like, it sounds like. Well, first of all, were you working with a specific home builder doing these decks? Were you and your partner building the houses and then doing the decks, or just working for a couple different builders and providing that like kind of standard option for their homes?
Yeah, so the builder would hire like a framing contractor, and the framing contractor would do the deck or would do the houses, the siding, and the decks, and then the contractor would sub us out to do the decks. And so, yeah, we just did decks. Like once we had a partner, we would do one deck a day, and we were making pretty good money, but it was no future, and,
Yeah,
and no creativity. It was just, same thing every day. So
yeah,
it wasn't really what I was looking for or wanted, but that's where I fell in love with the decks is because before that I was doing like, basements finishing and like back out. So like, inside the home, we'd do like the kitchen island walls, like arches. We'd build arches inside the houses and, all the different like touches of the house where the framer wouldn't do. But then we started doing decks and I was like, man, I love being out, even though it's new construction, you're kind of outside a little bit
yeah,
with, and the deck, you're fully outside. And I just loved it. And I was like, man, yeah, this is what I want to do is just build decks. It's so much fun. It's, as it's, you got the framing part of it and then you got the finish part of it. And both aspects come together. And it's rare to find people that can frame and understand structure, but then understand like, hey, everything's a finished product. So you have to treat it like a finished carpenter. And so
yeah.
it's a unique skill set, and I really like that.
Definitely. You have to be like really aware of how you're building something because like you said, a lot of the framing or even if it's not exposed, it's only getting covered by like one piece of trim, so it needs to be precise and you need to understand like what that finished detail is going to be. So there's not really as much of like a standard practice like there would be in like interior framing. It's like, okay, a door's going here, so we know where to put, have a nailer for our drywall in this inside corner. And like, there's everything's going to be different on a deck. And like, you need to understand what's going to be that finished product to make sure that you're setting yourself up. And especially for me, like just when I was just starting out, it's like you don't realize a lot of those things until you get to the finished detail and you're like, I didn't put this thing here. Let me try to remember next time to make sure I do this because now I got to go backwards a little bit, add blocking or whatever it is. So it is, that's what I love about it is you get that full project, you get to experience every stage of it, but it's, you know, even on a big project like you're doing, it's still relatively quick. Like you get to, even if it's a couple months and it's a big project, you're getting from start to completion in a couple months. It's not quite like building a house where you might be doing it for a year and you get to go through all the same sort of phases and get that finished product and really just get creative on every project. You can do something different, which is really cool. So, you had a partner starting out, you started with the kind of more basic cookie cutter kind of stuff. And that probably was a great part of your journey because you learned how to be like efficient and everything. That's something I didn't really learn how to do, and still trying to learn a little bit more about efficiency every day and, and work like that. But you having that base has probably been crucial for you. So getting to the custom stuff, was it just like, one opportunity kind of came up and, you did that and then it's like, oh, this is awesome. And slowly, you kind of started adding more and more custom jobs in. And then you got to a point where it was like, okay, I don't want to do the cookie cutter stuff anymore. Let's just do this. Is that kind of how it went?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's exactly how it went. And, it's with the new construction, and especially at that time, they were just building houses out here like crazy. I mean, there was just like unlimited amount of work. So it's like, okay, we go out on our own. Are we going to, that responsibility now falls on us to make sure we're providing, getting work. I just had my first kid, and my partner actually had his first kid. Like our kids are 3 days apart. So we must have had a snow day or
Jeez.
something. So then it was just like, man, it was a lot of responsibility to be able to make sure, hey, we're going to go out on our own. We got to, if we mess something up, it falls on us 100%. And so, yeah, it was a scary leap, but it was something that we wanted to do. And so we took that leap. And, starting out, you're just kind of doing just regular basic 12 by 12 decks, and nothing crazy. But then it's like, oh, let's change the picture frame to a different color, like
Yeah.
do that, and then like, oh, sweet, this is awesome. And then, then you just start being creative and trying to come up and seeing what other people are doing throughout the country too. And, oh, wow, yeah, that's cool. And learning from other people in the industry to be able to try to come up with something that has maybe just a little bit of your own flavor. But, yeah, it was, pretty fun journey for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. It's funny to see like, the hey, maybe let's add a different color border. And then like for that to like elevate to what you're doing now is just like pretty incredible in a short period of time. So who's like the creative engine behind the projects? Is it you? Are you designing everything? Is that what you're super passionate about? How do you get from doing a simple 12 by 12 deck to designing something like this? Because I think a lot of people, especially in the trades, like they look at something like you're doing now and they say, I could build that. I believe I could build that. Yeah, it's very challenging. Like, yeah, it would test me, but that's what I'm here for. I'm a carpenter. I would love to build that. I think the hardest thing for a lot of people is to wrap their heads around how do I design this? How do I get the client? How do I sell this job? Like that's the big hurdle I think for a lot of people to get to doing a project like this. So, who's the creative engine behind a project like this? Is it all you? Is it a team? What does that look like?
Yeah, it was, I started out, just me. I really That's one of my favorite things to do is, do an estimate, show up on that, at a customer's home, never been there, don't know the lay of the land, and just coming back there and talking to them and just kinda just right there, just coming up with different ideas and like, "Oh, this, that." That is my favorite thing to do is just trying to just on the spot right there, what can we do and come up with different ideas. But then once we get right now, probably for about 2 years now, Randy has been my project developer, designer. So once we win the job, he takes over from there until we build the job. We have a lot of, work together. It's like, okay, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking on this one. And then he'll work with the homeowners, grab what they're wanting to do, and then he'll put his spin on it too. So right now it's definitely 100% a team as far as the designs and process. It's not definitely not all me, and Randy does a great job coming up with some really cool ideas and design stuff. So right now it's a team, and we work really well together and coming up with different ideas. Like one we got in the process right now is like, hey Randy, these homeowners didn't ask for a cover, but it's south facing and they're not going to be able to enjoy their deck. So we got to come up with a cover and whatnot. So he just came up with something looks really cool. So hopefully they move forward with that. So that's kind of how we work together as far as like, hey man, let's put a cover here. Let's maybe come up with a gable or something. Then he'll draw it up in our program and kind of we'll review it and see how it looks and tweak it maybe, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah. Um, that sounds like a really great dynamic, and having somebody to like, almost collaboratively come up with these ideas takes a lot of stress off of you,
Hmm.
lets him be creative, and then you have that back and forth. So, you're still very much part of the process and you can just elevate it more than each one of you could do alone. You know what I mean? It
For
sounds
sure.
like you guys are really working well as a team, which is super important, especially for scaling. So, talking about scaling and getting to the point where you are now, building out a team and everything, what was your initial like first hire when you're going from just the two of you? You still have a partner at this point. What's like, what's the next step? Because I think a lot of people are in that phase right now where it's either just them, maybe they have a partner, maybe they have one employee, but it's just like everything in this business is going to go through me right now. And that next, like that first step is a lot of times the hardest. So, what did that look like for you? Was it initially the right step? Was it, did you take one step backwards and then a couple forward? Like, what did that initial growth look like?
Yeah, great question. A lot of steps forwards and a lot of step backwards when you start coming to hiring for sure. So first, we were just trying to get a helper, because the nice thing with the partner is that, you have two people that are fully invested. And so it's not like all on, you're the only one that's fully invested and then trying to get somebody else to be invested as much as you, because that's just not going to happen. So I wouldn't be where I am right now without the partnership that we had to get us going. I think it definitely helped me get where I am quicker, uh, due to because of the partnership. But the partnership is hard, so that was it wasn't easy. But the first hire, we went through a couple people just trying to find somebody that would show up, to help. Help us lift the beam up and whatnot. So that took a little bit, and then we found a couple people that were stuck around for about a year and a half, and were like really hard workers, and it was super fun. My favorite thing is being a lead carpenter and like having a group under me and being able to delegate and like being 5 steps ahead and having just everything going is kind of part of that efficiency thing that we learned with new construction. That is my all-time favorite thing to do is be the crew lead and just directing and going and just boom, 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 knocking stuff out, making it look good. Unfortunately, that's not my role anymore. But so bringing up guys, teaching guys, training guys, and getting that going. And then had an hourly crew that was working for me while I was doing, I was kind of offsite then doing all the estimates, doing the design work at the same time. And then hired I got Randy on board and he was doing sales for a little bit. Then he transitioned into the design stuff and then I stuck with sales. But it's hard. It's hard. It's hard hiring. It's hard getting people. It's, you look back and sometimes you're like, man, is this worth it? Is it better just to go work for somebody else and just not have to bear, hold that stress or, the making sure projects are getting done, making sure you're making money, making sure people are getting paid, making sure you're staying on time, on schedule. You got the homeowners being able to produce for them and give them what they are expecting. There's a lot that rides on you and carries on your shoulders. And it's not always easy. It's actually a
Yeah.
very difficult thing. And I'm sorry, I kind of went all over the place there
No, that's
talking
perfect.
about talking about hiring
Yeah.
and
That's what
just
that's what
bringing.
running a business feels like is, it's kinda all over the place. It's like,
Yeah.
especially, at least for me, I don't know, maybe that's not the how it's supposed to feel, but it definitely feels that way for me. Um,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of times, like, I think you touched on something that's so important and relevant and relatable is like, when you're in the thick of, like, trying to figure all this stuff out, that's when you're like, man, I should probably just work for somebody else. But you're too far in at that point that you can't really back out and you just have to keep going. Like, I think a lot of people, if they could feel that feeling of what it's like when you really are doubting yourself or things aren't going quite right and you're just like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to figure this out and grow the business. If they could feel that before they started, they'd be like, this isn't worth it. I'm just going to keep working for somebody else. But, you know, I think everyone has that eternal optimism when they start the business and it's like, this is going to be the way I go. And then you hit a point where you're like, this isn't quite as easy as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be all like, I'm the boss, I'm making all this money, just this is great. I have all the freedom in the world. I have more time in my personal life, which is obviously never the case when you run a business. And by the time you realize all that stuff, you're like, well, now I can't turn back now. So that's like kind of a blessing in a way, because I think a lot of people wouldn't make that jump if they realized a lot of the challenges that they're going to encounter along the way. And, you just face them as they come up and knock them down one by one. And eventually, hopefully, you get through it, you get better. And then, you always have new problems. But it sounds like you have a really good team right now. Just saying that you're not in that lead carpenter position that you really enjoy, but you have to do other things. So what's the team currently look like? How many people, and what are some of the positions that are crucial for running a business and doing projects like this?
Yeah, so we just transitioned about 8 months ago, maybe. So we originally had hourly crew, and I was trying to grow, get another hourly crew. So I kind of had two hourly crews going, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't. The taxes, the payroll taxes, the workers' comp, everything out here. I don't know what it's like in other parts of the country, but Denver makes it very difficult to hire people and provide for people. It's super expensive for a small business owner to have hourly guys in Colorado. And it's very unfortunate because I wanted so hard and be like, I'm going to have hourly crews and that's all we're going to do. I'm going to take care of everybody. We're going to make it work. It's going to be awesome. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't afford it, unfortunately. And to be able to pay them a living wage and being able to be profitable on top of that and pay all my taxes, like it was unbelievable the amount of taxes I was paying per week for payrolls. Like I just couldn't do it. So anyways, we transitioned to subcontractors about 8 months ago. And so it's working out well. There's definitely positives and negatives to both things. So right now it's, project manager, project developer, and myself as far as who's under the company umbrella for getting paid hourly and on payroll. And this summer we had as much as 5 different projects going on. Right now we're kind of scaling down as winter is coming into like 2 crews going on. So it was definitely a little hectic this summer. Worked out pretty well, and still kind of learning that how to deal with the subcontractors. The one thing that I do like about the subcontractors is that they're gonna my quality, no matter what, is gonna be getting done that way. Whereas with hourly, sometimes you can be like, this one little thing that you maybe notice, but no one's ever going to notice. And man, I am already making no profit on this. I don't know. So there's a lot of times where you can just mentally be like, oh, it's fine. Right. And
Yeah.
that's an unfortunate spot to be in. But with subcontractors, it's like, you pay them the price and they're going to have to come back and get it done no matter what. And, the biggest thing with me with hourly guys, we're building the cover, we're protecting the deck, and they scratch 20 deck boards or ruin 20 deck boards that comes out of my pocket. They don't really care. The hourly guys don't really care, unfortunately. I mean, they do care, but they don't really care, whereas the subcontractors, now they're paying for the material. Now they're going to have to go and get that fixed, and it's coming out of their pocket. So it's a little bit more ownership with the crews that are working, because that if anything goes wrong, it doesn't go right, they're paying for it. Whereas hourly guys, it's like, I'm getting paid per hour. It doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing I've seen, the difference with the subcontractors and hourly guys. It's just like, man, and I try to, you try to do bonus stuff and like, hey, we get it done this quick, or we get this, or we do this, you get paid more, you get this and that, you get raises if we do this. And they don't, it's like they didn't even hit it. They didn't care. It's like, man, how can I motivate these guys so that
Yeah.
the company can be more profitable, which then we can pay you more, but, yeah, it was a struggle,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of disappointed that it was, but it is what it is.
It's really tough. A lot of people don't realize how much goes into paying an employee, especially as you get, more qualified and better employees. Like, I'm sure it is
Hmm.
different in different parts of the country, but just like, for example, let's say you're paying somebody, a carpenter, $100,000 a year in New Jersey, at least, and all of our employees are on salary. So you look at that $100,000 a year and you think, okay, that's a lot of money. And yeah, it is. It's a lot of money. That's a big expense. But a great carpenter, absolutely worth it. But
Hmm.
then, once you get into it, you realize there's a lot of other costs associated with this. So in New Jersey, you're paying half of their Social Security and unemployment benefits. So that's 7.5% right there. So now that's $7,500. You're paying workman's compensation, which when you initially start, you're at a set rate, which for carpentry is around 22%. So if you're just starting out and you don't have like 5 years of workman's comp experience, where you can now get out of the, if you have a track record of no claims, you can get that lower. But starting out, that's $22,000 a year. Now, if you want to do health insurance, which we do, you're talking about $700 a month per employee. Now, you want to do a 401k with employer matching. If they want to max that out and put 5% into their 401k, we're matching 4% of that, so it's another 4,000. So you're looking at $100,000 employee, and now you're at 107.5 with the payroll tax. You're at 139 something when you add in the the workman's comp. When you add in the IRA and 401k, you're looking at 143. Now add in the health insurance, you're about 150,000 for a $100,000 employee. So it's really difficult to make that work. And if you don't have somebody that's self motivated and just like has that personal buy in, it's really difficult. It's really difficult, and a lot of employees and a lot of business owners, when they're first starting out, don't realize $100,000 employee is gonna cost you about 150 at the end of the day, So it's really difficult, so, don't beat yourself up for, not making that work. And it's not, you're still employing, giving the subcontractor work, and now the subcontractor gets to be proud and take ownership of what they get to do. And I'm sure a lot of subs that you're working with are just thrilled at the opportunity to be able to build something super cool for a contractor that wants to do everything right. And that's probably a great experience for them. So I'm glad that's working out for you. It sounds like it's led to a lot of growth and a lot less headaches for you, which ultimately is a good thing. That's sometimes hard to come by as a business owner.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. One of my crews is two guys that were working for me hourly. One of the guys has been with me for like 3.5 years. And so when I was making that change, I was like, man, I don't want to just let you guys go, as I really cared about them. And they're good guys, younger guys too, they're in their mid to low 20s, and really they have some really great potential, and so I was like, hey, I'll help you guys out. Let's get this subcontractor going, and hopefully, my goal would be that they just stay working for me forever, but I know that's not going to happen. They're eventually probably going to do what I did, which is fine and great, and I really hope, I wish them the best at whatever route they go, but I'm going to keep giving them work and keep helping them grow. And like, yeah, with the hourly guys, it's, we were a family and it was really close, and I really enjoyed that part of it. But now it's a little bit different now with the crews. Now it's just more my managers and stuff, which is great. But yeah, I think it's for me, it's the way to go to be able to keep growing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people are switching to that format for business, using a lot of sub crews, and because it's difficult in this day and age to provide for all in-house salaried or hourly employees. And it's getting harder all the time. It's getting harder all
Hmm.
the time. And there's a lot of legislation that, in a lot of ways is fair, because there's a lot of people taking advantage of people out there. But for the people that want to just treat their people really good, some of these things make it just that much more difficult. And then, the some of these things have the reverse effect, where it's like, okay, I can't afford to have these people on salary or on my payroll as W-2 employees. we got to switch to sub crews. And it's an unfortunate thing about it, but it sounds like it's working out really well for you. And I know a lot of people are switching to that, and it's a great way to grow your business. So super happy that's working out for you. And I'm sure you're enjoying less headaches. I know it's not eliminating all your headaches with, with building projects like this. There's just new and different ones. But we talked enough about business for a while here. Let's take a little bit of break, and we're going to do something new here, the happy hour hot seat. And don't get scared. It's not really too much of a hot seat. The seat is lukewarm at best.
Okay.
Just a couple fun.
Catherine, you want to
quick
take
questions.
this? We've shut you out of this conversation going back and forth. Just
Always happens. It's totally fine.
yeah.
All right, these are just meant to be lighthearted, rapid fire questions. So don't think too much. But all right, so number 1, what is your all-time biggest job site pet peeve?
Not being organized.
Oh, okay.
You would
Okay.
hate working with me. My God.
A dirty job site. I show up on the job site and their hardware is here, there. Like when we with the subcontractor crews, I bought them a table. I told them, hey, this is how you do it. You put everything here, organize everything. You put a tarp over it every night. No, they just do not do it, and it drives me nuts. So I'm gonna start fining them or something. Like if I show up on the job site and it's not clean, it's $100 fine. You just it's got to be clean. Like that's part of my brand that I want to portray.
Yes, yeah. That makes
Anyways.
sense. All right, so besides like just your general phone, what is one piece of like tech that you really like for your business?
I like my CRM. I use HubSpot. I really like that. And my project managing tools that I use, Rike, it works with, it's staying organized, works great.
All right, and if you had to switch to a different trade tomorrow, what trade would you go to?
Different trade. I don't know. Maybe electrician.
They're known for being the
Sparky.
most disorganized. So you would
I
come
know.
and give them the total trade a rebrand.
Be the cleanest
I like
electrician out there.
All right, so who would be your dream client, like a celebrity or well-known person? Who would you want to work with?
Probably Nathan McKinnon with the Avalanche, Colorado Avalanche.
Hockey guy. Never heard of who that is, but he's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's pretty
Solid
solid
player. Okay.
for sure. Or it'd be like Jonathan Taze. He was with the Blackhawks. I'm originally from Chicago, so I love my Blackhawks. But he's now playing for the Winnipeg. Jonathan Taze is like one of my all-time favorite players.
Nice. Okay. All right, and last question. What is like dollar for dollar the purchase that you've made dollar for dollar that brings you the most amount of joy?
My bow, my archery bow. I shoot my bow, and archery season here in Colorado is starting next week for elk. So been shooting my bow quite a bit. And let's get out there. You're kind of clearing your mind, focusing on that target. Just kind of, it's a little bit of a stress reliever.
Bow hunting seems like the most fair way to do hunting. I like that.
I get to hear the animals like heartbeat and breath. Like I got to be close, Yeah, it's amazing.
Beautiful.
How big are elk? They're like huge, right? I've never been near one.
Yeah, they're big. They're not as big as a moose, but yeah, they're
like bigger
a
than a
bull.
deer, but not as big as a moose.
Yeah, so like a bull elk, like guts and everything, all like just a regular weight could be like 1,200 pounds.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah.
heavy.
How do you move that? How do you deal with that
Well,
once you shoot it?
so we go backpacking in about 3 miles roughly, and it's kind of where we're going. And so when we get one, we got to quarter it out and then just carry it out on your back. So, you kind of take off the shoulders, take the back strap, take everything out, put it in your backpack and hike it out. Yeah.
Wait,
if you
put it
want.
inside like a
Rugged.
trash bag or something, like to keep the
No,
or you
it's a
just
guy-
the woods covered in elk blood.
no, it's a game bag. You put it in a game bag and everything to protect the meat and whatnot. But if you want to have a life-changing experience, come out archery, elk hunting, and will change your life.
Definitely seems very interesting because it's like, you're really have to like be still. Like it's a lot, like it seems very meditative. You're just out in nature. You have to wait
Mhm.
around a lot. You're, especially with a bow, you have to be like so still and like, just be present and focused. I'm sure it could be like one of two things. You could either like get into that zone and it's like, such a stress relief and all the tension melts away, or you're so stressed out that you can't, and then it totally messes up your elk hunt and you just now you're even twice as pissed off.
Yeah, there's a lot of elk hunting. It's very emotional driven, just ups and downs, and you have to be mentally tough, and it trains you to be mentally tough because it's just a lot of work, very difficult, very hard, and a very emotional taxing.
Yeah.
Is that something you do? Like you go out for a weekend, or is it like just a morning? How long are you out there?
I'll go. We usually go 10 days straight, and then
Man,
probably take about a week or two off, and then go for 10 more days. Usually, we go for like the first 10 days of September and the last 10 days of September. This year is going to be a little bit different. I'm not going to be able to get out as much, unfortunately, but yeah, it's archery elk hunting is really what I live and breathe for.
That's
that's
awesome.
so interesting.
Yeah.
I love people with hobbies, and I love learning about people's hobbies. That's a cool one. That's
Mhm.
I
Need
mean,
to get you out
maybe
there,
it's popular
Catherine.
there, but I don't think I could do it.
Yeah,
But
come on
but
Not
out.
with
it's
that
interesting.
attitude. Now a quick rapid fire. DeWalt or Milwaukee?
Milwaukee,
New construction or a tricky renovation?
tricky renovation,
Work on a Saturday or work late on a Friday?
work on a Saturday,
And coffee or energy drink to start the day?
coffee.
All right. Nice. All right. Well, that's all we got for our little happy hour hot seat segment. You were the first one, so I hope you enjoyed that.
It was great.
Not exactly what I pegged you for all the answers. So I figured you were a coffee guy. You definitely don't seem like an energy drink guy.
Mm-mm.
People would probably peg me as an energy drink guy. Just have that kind of like a little bit squirrely energy. You seem very calm and steady, like a bow hunter that's gonna peacefully drink his black coffee out in the woods out
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
Stanley thermos.
that's right.
Pretty spot on there.
Yeah, yeah, solid.
All right. All right. So moving on from that, fun little break there. I want to talk about the project management and the project like life cycle of something big like this. What does the project look like from initial outreach from the client to, where you're done, you're walking away from the project and you're done? Like, what does that process look like?
Yeah, so they, so reach out, I go schedule on-site consultation, get out there, work up an estimate. I'm usually, you know, with my estimates and kind of backlog, we're usually about a week out. I tell everybody about a week out for my estimates to get the pricing over to them. My estimates are very detailed. I probably should charge for them, but I don't. But maybe someday we will. But very detailed. Homeowners love it. They love seeing our estimates. I get tons of compliments from it. And the reason why I like being detailed is because if I'm getting an estimate, that's what I want to know is break it all down. And so do that, get that to them. So it's about a week. They move forward with us. We get them in the queue, depending if they want to move forward with a design or not. Either way, we always have, nice drawings, engineers and all that, but we maybe not always do the 3D model for them. It just depends. Like if we're doing replacing a deck like for like, then usually they don't need a 3D model. They don't need to see it because they know what it's going to be like. But if we're putting a cover or changing it, we're definitely going to do 3D modeling, imaging. Randy kind of does all that, takes care of all that. And so that process is depending on what our backlog is at the time. We're usually probably about the time they move forward with us to then get in to actually start the 3D design work is probably about a month to be able to get that as our backlog to get through all the other ones that are already lined up. And then from there, we go into permitting takes about 3 months out here in Jefferson County. So once they move forward with it, I start that process right away to get in the queue and get it going. So that when Randy's done with his designs, and then we got to go into engineering. So where we build, everything has to be engineered. So once the homeowner approved the design, approved the style, Randy and then we send it over to our engineer, get that drawn up, and then we'll get that into the building department. And then from there, we go and start our build. So we like the, 3-phase system: estimate, design, and build. is kind of how we like to roll. And usually I would say from the time they start with us to the time or move forward with us to the time we're actually on their project, I would say it's roughly about 4 to 6 months.
For the type of projects you're doing, you laid it out in a very simple manner, which, you probably have to do to make it run efficiently. Like, I don't know why I was
Uh-huh.
expecting some like, really elaborate, like do this. And then there's like, which the bigger the job, almost the simpler the process needs to be so that, it doesn't get too confusing or too heavy logistically to kind of work through it because the project itself has enough logistical challenges. So how are you getting a lot of your leads? Are they through paid? Are they organic, word of mouth? Like what's your biggest source of leads?
A mixture of all that. I would say a lot of it is probably paid ads, so Google, obviously word of mouth. We've get a handful of those as well every year, and then organic it works pretty well for us too. We just started are doing Facebook ads and stuff like that about a couple months ago. So that, hey, look at that guest. How are you doing?
So we've got another guest here. We've got Max. He has come up to the podcast studio. And what's up? Your cement's not dry?
Yeah, but it's almost.
It is? All right, you go check on it. I'm going to be out in about 10 minutes and let's build something with that cement. All right? It's not dry, but maybe in 10 minutes it will be. You go check on it. We'll check on it again. Make sure that I bet it'll be dry pretty soon. All right. I'll be out in a couple minutes. My project manager.
He's building some, he's pouring the footings today.
I think he builds a lot of dams. He likes to build dams, so I think that's probably what he's got on his on his agenda today. So big stuff happening around here.
Heck
So
yeah.
you make it really simple for a big project like that. Yeah, what's up, bud? Okay. Oh, perfect. Yeah, we're gonna be building a dam later.
Heck yeah.
Can I come out in 5 minutes? I'll be out in a couple minutes. All right, bud. Yeah. All right. So we got big stuff going on here. It's pretty exciting.
Well, that's how it
So
goes.
yeah, you make it sound you make it sound pretty simple to do a project like this. Another thing that I wanted to touch on, you're doing these huge high ticket items. Yeah, what's up, bud? All right, hold on, time out for a second. Yeah, bud. Okay. All right, you go check on it for me. All right. Maybe get the hose. Maybe it needs more water. All right. Yeah, I got my boots on. But yeah, get your running shoes off and put your boots on. So you kind of made it sound pretty simple for your process from start to finish on these projects, kind of breaking them down into those 3 phases kind of helps you move it along, I imagine, like the estimate, design, build, and kind of like knowing which part of the process each job is in is probably super helpful and kind of keeps it manageable from a logistical standpoint. Another thing I wanted to touch on was, you're doing a lot of these huge projects. You're in a really harsh environment, a lot of dry weather. I wanted to touch on some of the products you're using to build your substructure. I know I've seen you use the ProWood new True Frame, which I'm really jealous that we don't have that on the East Coast yet. I think it's, from an idea standpoint, I think it's going to be a huge win. Tell me give people a little bit of background because I've seen you're actually able to use it. It's available in your market and what that looks like on your jobs. What are the benefits to it and what's kind of like different about that over like regular pressure treated?
Yeah, the True Frame is great. They just came out with it really the beginning of the year. I think it was me and another contractor out here, got the first little batch, was messing around with it. They had a little tweaks and stuff in the beginning, just as anything when they're coming out with new, but it looks like they got everything all figured out and moving along pretty well with it. But yeah, it's KDAT, so it's kiln dried after treatment. So it gets treated, they kiln dry it, which for us out here with the dryness and different temperature swings and moisture swings, the wet stuff can just twist really easily and shrink. It does a lot of shrinking. So this stuff is really stable. And then also the nice thing is that they plane it for you. So they check the crowns, they go through after it's kiln dried, then they take off that top layer. So the actual width of it is like a 2x10 is 9 inches. It's and it's all, so far it's all been true to 9 inches. Like there's not like 9 1/8 or 8 7/8. Like it's 9 inches. So
Really?
that's pretty cool about it, that it's pretty stable in that sense and really straight. We still, after we put it on, we still go through and double check the crown. There's a little bit of planing that, that we still do, not nearly as much, but the little touches here and there just to make sure, we want to make sure we're getting everything as flat as possible. So a little bit of touch ups, but then we're able to just throw on that joist tape and frame it up, joist tape it and go. So it cuts down a lot of the time. You're not having to go down there, check each board, set everything up, set it all up and get all the different widths lined up and make sure you're crowning it right, So, excuse me, when you're hiring new guys and trying to teach them how to do all that, it's just one step that you don't have to try to teach. It's like, hey, this is the top, this is what it goes, gets installed this way.
Yeah.
And there for a while, we were still checking them just to make sure, they were crowning them right and everything. And
Yeah.
it's been a great product to work with.
Yeah, it's one of the things like in deck and outdoor living that like I've been seeing the most for the last like year or two is all the alternative framing, and a lot of it seems cool and interesting. I'll never be a steel guy just because like I feel like that's not, I don't know. You're not a carpenter at that point. It's just like it's too far removed mentally for me to like be a steel guy. I don't know why. I just can't get there. But there's some other alternative framing like composite framing and stuff like that it's interesting, but it's so expensive that I think like the value proposition like eventually, I mean there's so many people out there that says you just have to sell the value of it. Sell the value. It's like, not everybody has an unlimited budget. Like at some point you have to make a choice to go with something that's like more of a value decision over just like let's just get the newest thing that's composite or whatever, because all the materials are expensive. So they probably asked me about it like for some input when they were before they came out with it about maybe a year ago, and they told me it was only going to be available in the Midwest. I'm like, what? Why are you even bringing this up to me? I want to use it because it seems like we use pressure treated for our frames. It's readily available. It's easy to use. It's tried and true. It's been out for ever almost, and it just takes that simple pressure treated lumber and takes care of the things that are like the biggest pain points of it: inconsistency in size. And yeah, look, our guest is back. What's up, Max? Good. Okay. All right, go out there. I'll be out in a couple minutes, big guy. All right, or you can sit up here if you want to just be quiet for a minute. Okay. Catherine, you're gonna have a little bit of editing on this one. I am so sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, I'm excited for that as a product because, the consistency in size and pre-crowning it's just a very simple thing that they thought of in the manufacturing and production process that can take it from a good product that we use, regular pressure treated, and then just elevate it so it takes away those things like kiln drying it, so it takes care of that initial shrinkage and movement, and then also planing it down, running it through I guess maybe a router or something, so everyone is consistent in size, I think is a game changer.
Yeah, for sure. And it's the nice thing about it too is that the price point of it is the same as regular kiln dried treated lumber. So it's not like you're spending that extra money for it to be planed and everything. So the pricing on it is right on.
Yeah. Yeah,
And like you said,
that's awesome. So I'm really hoping that they I was interested to hear your thoughts on it because you're the only person I know that's used it because it's only in your market, and I can't wait till it's available in New Jersey so we can use it on our projects. Maybe they'll ship us a special load just to try it out, hopefully.
yeah,
But
get them
we'll
to
see.
do that, man.
Yeah.
But like you said,
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Talk to somebody. Or maybe you can send it out to us.
yeah,
But
we'll put on a trailer and haul it out there.
there you go.
I
Yeah, and
haven't
if you
been
want
to
to
the
come
East
with it and help
Coast
us
yet.
build too, that would help.
Yeah, okay.
That would be helpful.
That'd be
So,
cool.
well, I think we've covered enough here. We've got a lot of really great stuff. I've got a project manager up here in the podcast studio, really hounding me to get to work. So, Jonathan, how can people get in touch with you, check out your work, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, website. It's the mouthful. www.coloradocustomcoversx. How
Yeah.
fast can you say it? And then Instagram. Yeah, I don't even know I think it's at covers_decks, or I don't even know my handle. But whatever, you can find me on Instagram. YouTube, we do covers and decks. We have a YouTube channel there as well. And
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Well, appreciate you coming on, sharing a lot of your knowledge and experience. It's been super interesting. And we'll have to have you on again, because there's some other stuff that we didn't quite get into yet, but we're up against our time frame here. The happy hour is concluding. So appreciate you being on, and we'll catch up with you soon.
yeah, no, I really appreciate you guys having me on, and look forward to, I think, probably the Deck Expo. See you guys there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan Moeller,
Awesome.
Colorado Custom Covers and Decks. Appreciate it. And we will see everybody later. What do we usually say at the end? Till next time, this has
There
been
you go.
the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.